Welcome to our Road to Success, the podcast where we chronicle our journey through this mad roadmap to the American dream. My name is Iggy Kid. I'm a professional freelance voiceover actor, musician, and writer, coming to you with my co-host,
Christian Hansen. I am currently a batshit crazy person trying to get an animation channel on YouTube going. Today's episode is going to be full of energy, as all of our episodes should be.
Hell yeah, I'm having myself an energy drink coffee. You know what they say, when you're doing voiceover, the two things you should definitely put in your mouth are some gunky-ass cream and some coffee.
I was expecting you to say dicks, to be honest with you.
I mean, shoot, if you, depending on the thing, it might actually be a good idea. Anyways, we are back. Last week,
a pretty good idea to me. I don't know. So yeah, we're back.
Yeah, last week I was planning. I was at TrotCon through Sunday, and we were planning on doing it on Monday. But then I was wiped out, and Christian had some shit going on. So now it is the Sunday after TrotCon. So 2 weeks out, which I probably should have tweeted out or something. But it's not like anybody's following our Twitter, anyways. So some new stuff, housekeeping-ish stuff. We got a new icon that Christian put together, so that's cool. You probably see that.
Yeah, it sucks, but you know what?
I mean, it could be worse.
Could be something I drew in MS Paint. You know, have like some stick figure Sonic OC in the background. That would always be classy.
Oh, yeah, that's always
Very
an option.
classy stuff, so...
Okay, so, other thing is I'm recording from a new computer. Finally, I've been talking about it for quite a few episodes now, but I finally got enough together, the $400 I needed for this Lenovo Idea Center. It's just like a standard prefab computer. 8 gigs of RAM. I think it has like 2 more open slots of RAM, so I'll probably upgrade that at some point. An Intel i3, so nothing too fancy, but it's better than my crappy 6-year-old HP laptop I was using before. So, the main difference is that it's Windows 10, which I haven't had any experiences with. I've been on Windows 7 since maybe a year after Windows 7 came out. And honestly, I still miss XP, but Windows 10 is not that bad. Like, my experience with Windows 8 made me really dread it, but as it turns out, Windows 10 is okay. Like, Windows 8 was just hot garbage, but 10 is...
Yeah, Windows 8 was the worst.
Yeah, 10 is definitely, it's still, the thing that I've noticed, and it's pretty obvious, is that Microsoft is definitely focusing more on tablets, because it's pretty clear, like, most of this design is meant to be used with a touchscreen, but, it's alright. It's, it works, and it only took me, like, a couple days now.
Menus, so, I mean...
Yeah, it's only taken me a couple days to get everything set back up, so I have, right now, I have most of my programs back. I'm transferring stuff over with a hard drive. I considered putting together an FTP server to do it, but I realized that if I don't have like an actual like Ethernet cable, the Wi-Fi is so crap that I may as well just transfer it over with the hard drive. So, oh, and the other thing is that now I am recording...
actually,
yeah.
It's something I kind of just want to say. It's completely off topic, but because you're talking about Windows 8 and how much it sucks, like, just to say something completely interesting off topic, I actually know a guy. He grew up like right next to Microsoft, and he was actually friends with a couple people who worked on Windows 8. And what was interesting is at first they weren't making it for tablets.
Okay.
New guy came in.
Oh boy.
And he was like, tablets are the future, and if you aren't making anything that is for anything but a tablet, you're fired.
I mean, that's...
What he would do is people would say like, well, what about our desktop users? And what he would say is he'd be all like, oh, are you not part of the team? You're fired.
Okay, well, that's some toxic nonsense, but like...
So...
It's not wrong thinking, though, because, like, you look at the current thing, most people are just using tablets or, like, a laptop. So few people actually have a desktop computer unless they're, a professional. Like, it's pretty much only used for work now. So the home computer is definitely not going to be a desktop, and Like, focusing on tablets is smarter, but I prefer this middle ground they've found with 10, where it's like, it's definitely still optimized for tablets, but it doesn't have problems being a desktop computer. I don't like all the constant ads in my face whenever I hit the start button, but it's organized well at least. Oh, excuse me. The other thing I wanted to talk about is now I am on Adobe Audition Creative Cloud, because before I was on CS6, and CS6 was fine. I had gotten very used to it. And moving over to the Creative Cloud, actually paying the monthly thing now, is actually fine. Like, it's not really that different. Like, there's some differences in UI, and I noticed there's a couple of new effects and things. But for the most part, it's pretty much the exact same program, just like with a couple of updated things. And the thing is, now that I'm paying for that, I'm also getting like 20 gigs of like cloud storage and like apparently a portfolio site, which I haven't looked into too much yet because I've been too busy setting the computer up. But yeah, it's decent. It's fine. Yeah, it works just as well. And
like it's so in my case, at least my experience from Adobe Creative Cloud, it's like, it's kind of the same thing as you had. It's good. It's, in fact, God, I'd say it's actually really good if you're doing animation stuff, because now that everything's in the cloud and stuff like that, if something crashes or gets corrupted and you didn't save, there's always going to be like a backup or something there.
Right.
It's so funny to me because I do a lot of like animation art related things and whatnot. I remember when Creative Cloud was first announced and everyone just started shitting on it and complaining nonstop and saying, "Oh my God, what is Adobe doing? I'm going to switch to God knows, like I'm going to switch to GIMP. I'm going to switch to Manga Studio. I'm going to switch to Toon Boom. I'm going to do this, and this because Adobe doesn't know what they're doing."
Well, they were ahead of the curve on it.
I actually think it's one of the more stable. Yeah, they were.
It was when they first announced it. It was when cloud computing was still kind of fresh, as far like mainstream cloud computing, anyways, was still a really fresh idea. So like, barely anybody even really understood what a cloud was, and they, the subscription model wasn't nearly as popular as it is now. So it was like, what? I can't just pay one price and get it. It's like, yeah, in the long run, you're going to be paying more money. That's true. But it makes it so much more accessible for people. Because the thing is, before, how most people were using Audition or Premiere or Flash, pirating it because they can't afford the hundreds of bucks to get the actual program. But now it's like, hey, that same person can be paying $20 a month for the same program, and now Adobe's getting actual money from them, and they're actually able to
now you get all of them,
get the most modern thing, and not have to worry about like all the nonsense that is entailed with piracy. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea. And currently, I'm considering, because it's $20 a month for one app, I'm considering upgrading because it's only $6 or $50 or $60 for all of the apps, and I do kind of want to get Premiere as well for reasons that we'll get into later. But for the time being, I'm just sticking with Audition. So, I think that's about all for the opening topic. So let's get into our current situation. First off, with an update on our weekly goals and ongoing projects. So, Christian,
you want to go first, or should I go first?
Go for it.
Go for it. All right. By the way, kind of off topic, but there's like some weird lag going on between you and me.
Yeah, it's because I'm, like I said, I'm using the Creative Cloud to move all of my work files over, so my connection's a little spotty.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. I'd imagine it's both that and the fact that it's probably draining a lot of resources. Anyway, so for me, it was interesting. So have you have you ever like failed to do something? Like, you're supposed to do something for someone and then like you don't do it.
Yeah, quite a bit.
For whatever reason, it doesn't get it complete, and you start like curl up in a corner and you're like, "Oh, this sucks." So that's what happened, and I was curled up in the corner, and like I was flashing in my head, like everyone be like, "Oh, you're a loser, Christian. You're a fucking loser. Kill yourself, you loser." Blah 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 blah. And I was like this for like half an hour, like a complete and total baby. And then something kind of popped into my mind. I'm doing this. I'm making this thing for someone else, and here I am complaining about me.
Right.
And I was like, this reminds me strangely of like, this thing about this quote about being a man, where it's like, a man is not selfish, a man is selfless, and stuff like that.
Right.
So I've actually been kind of thinking about this, God, ever since like that, whatever. And I actually gave a talk in church today, about being selfless, about just self, kind of before others, and just doing things for others. I mean, even if it's something like a work of art or something like that, just creating something that will benefit people or teach them something or whatever in some shape or form. And I don't mean to preach religion or anything on this podcast, but there's a wonderful quote, that I'll probably talk more about later, that I actually really enjoy, and the quote is man's greatest happiness comes from losing himself to others. And as an artist, or really an animator, I think that people have just the power to be able to just create content that is, just in general, like, artists have the power to create content that is, able to inspire people, to be able to do, not inspire, but maybe relax people, maybe give people an escape for them to be able to kind of just relax and stuff like that. There's a really good Hayao Miyazaki quote that goes, animation is creating a fictional world. That fictional world soothes the soul from the sharp edges of reality. And
Okay.
I've actually been, really just this whole day just been kind of just thinking about that, like, how can what I'm doing benefit people and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that's currently my current situation, is I've just been trying to figure out, like, okay, how can I just redo what I'm doing? And I think for my future, even where this podcast started, I was thinking to myself, like, how can I do this? How can I do this? And yeah, that's kind of what's been going on over here.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of deep thoughts from your end, as per usual.
As per usual, yeah. So
Yeah. So, in terms of me, I got back from TrotCon. I'll get into TrotCon a lot deeper later in the business focus, but just as like an idea of how my sets and panels went. So I did 2 panels. The Words We Sing, which is about lyricizing, and Dramatic Reading Starring You, which is about voiceover. Dramatic Reading Starring You was at like 1:30 in the morning, and I believe there were about 5 people there. This was a pretty small con, so I wasn't a pretty small con. It's definitely not a venue I've played before, and yeah, it's not like I'm a big name or anything, and they gave me a pretty late time, so I'm not surprised that I had a small turnout there. So The Words We
did
Sing
it
was
go
on.
well regardless of the small turnout?
Yeah, it went fine. Like it was a small turnout, which is it just makes it a little more relaxed, but it went fine. The Words We Sing was like the very end of Sunday, so again, pretty poor time to be doing a panel, and I believe there was nobody there, and I did it for a while, and then like a couple of people popped in towards the end because they didn't realize the panel had been going on. I guess they didn't even bother like stepping in or anything. I don't know. But yeah, at the end of the day, Sunday for a con is like dead, so I wasn't shocked there. I also did the musicians panel, so all of the musicians who had played the night before, and there were maybe a dozen people in the entire main venue space. So in reality, it was just a lot of people doing that. Then yeah, my set was I closed at like 2:15 on Sunday morning, so. Again, I only had like maybe 10 people come out, or rather, 10 people who were still there, and they were mostly like, a lot of them were like laid out on chairs, like half asleep, because they were just sticking around for the rest of the thing. So I wasn't surprised again. And
They weren't drugged out or something.
I don't think so. A few of them definitely seemed drunk, but it's Saturday night. Um, but
At
yeah,
least they weren't tripping out.
I had a fun time. The music techs were actually really competent compared to some other music techs I've worked with, and I was actually able to get like a sound check and everything. Felt pretty good. There were some level problems, but I had a good time with it. Um, Moving on from that, because I'm going to talk about how I handled actually work, because I was still working that whole weekend doing voiceover. Moving on from that, I had 96 orders the week of TrotCon, which, if you'll remember, my goal was 100, so I was about 4 shy of that. But that was mainly because I was traveling all of Thursday, so I couldn't actually do any orders during that time. And then this week, because I knew coming back from the con, it would probably be a lighter week because I had to take a day off. I put my goal at 50, and I ended up getting 76. So I got 26 proud of that goal. So wasn't terrible, but could have been better. All kind of evens out to matching up with my projections.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all for my current situation. So our weeks. So this is the total money made from projects since the last episode. And since our last episode 2 weeks ago, I had $984 in completed projects, and I have 268 active currently. So once those get completed, those will be included into that. I believe I've made $1,600 so far this month, which, considering my goal per month is $1,500, I'm doing pretty decent. But yeah, that's how I did there. Nothing new on Voice Bunny. I've gotten quite a few offers for auditions and stuff, but it's always when I'm asleep. I always wake up to 5 emails, and it's just contest, this, speedy, this, and it's well, those are all already ended because you send them at the wrong times. Always with you guys. I don't know why. I just never can sync up. That's always what my problem with Voice Bunny has been. It's always the opportunities they send me are at exactly the wrong time for me to capitalize on them. But that's all I had to say there. So, Christian, how was your week?
That sounds like internet in a nutshell. It was interesting. I mean, I technically did decent amount of things. It's just as far as actual profit, not really much. I mean, I'd say there's an extra 100. I mean, I lost kind of sort of didn't keep much track. I did a couple art commissions for people, but I mean, outside of that, really not much. And it's not because I've been lazy. It's because I've been so in thought of what am I doing and what should I be doing?
Right. Yeah. No, I get. I've been there. Just getting up in your own head.
There's that, and it's exactly. Just getting up in your own head, and it's been I wouldn't say it's been confusing, but I just say it's been just thought provoking. So that's been that. I was actually supposed to me and some guy, we actually talked with each other. We both played Pokemon Go together, and he's actually a filmmaker.
Oh,
and
sweet.
he told me, I was like, dude, you were top tier, just top tier show host type person. Why don't we, since we both play this, why don't we go film the stupid Pokemon Go thing going on? The Pokemon Go Festival, as it was supposed to be called, where they're gonna have the legendaries released and stuff like that.
Right, because it's the anniversary
that ended up
now,
falling
right?
through. Yeah. So the legendaries came out. So you have Lugia and Articuno are now available. If you play it, which it fell through, but it's actually kind of funny that it fell through because apparently the whole festival was a bit of a disaster.
Oh,
which is hilarious.
The thing is, Pokemon Go was the biggest thing for a month or two, and then it died off. And now there are still people playing it, but they're just the diehards, like you. But it's still there. But I mean, I don't know I don't know who organized it, Niantic or Nintendo or the Pokemon company.
It was Niantic.
But Niantic, yeah, it's I get it, guys. You were hoping to promote something to get more that same fucking burst that you had initially, but Yeah, I'm not surprised that it didn't exactly work out because most people have already either uninstalled Pokemon Go or haven't even opened it. Like, I've had it on my phone and I
Well,
played it
it
like
was
once and I haven't gone back to it.
it was interesting. So actually, the big issue with it is that too many people showed up.
Really?
In fact, so many people showed up that, believe it or not, people showed up to this thing. Like when tickets started selling for this event, like they sold out in like the first 10 minutes, I believe it was,
Huh.
which is crazy. But then you see, the issue was is that so many people were there that that were having issues, but it was pretty much everyone's cell phone provider was having issues with just like the massive data load and stuff of having everyone in this one little place
Right.
just trying to play it at once. So what ended up happening is people just were not able to get like open up the app in general, like at all. And when you pay like $80 minimum to an event, some people paid like 400 because they had to pay scalpers
Oh,
for
wow.
tickets and stuff like that. Ooh, it was bad. Like they had the CEO of Niantic there, and he got booed off the stage because the game
Wow.
wasn't freaking working.
Oh, God. That's
So,
horrible.
yeah, exactly. Now that I think of it, that would have been a hilarious thing to film.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah, because like
geez, that would have
that's
been
the
the
sort of situation you definitely want
funniest.
to document, just like a fucking fight. Yeah, that's the thing is like people always like whine and moan about like, oh my God, this thing was a disaster, friggin' DashCon, friggin' Las Vegas's Unicon, but it's like, dude, you know what? I would kill to have had a decent like documentary, like just like a camera or like a camera guy and just fucking document that shit. That would have been amazing because you can find like footage of all of it because
It
people
would
just
have.
take stuff with their phones. But it would have been amazing to just do a full documentary of like, hey, check out this con. And then it actually turns into a disaster. And it's like, oh my God, this is even better. This is going to be amazing.
There's this one con I'm very disappointed that no one got any footage of. It's a furry convention, so you
Oh boy.
kind of know things are going to be really bizarre at minimum. But what's so interesting at this one is it's called Rainforest, or it was called.
Oh yeah.
What's so interesting about this one is it wasn't necessarily the organ. Yeah, yeah. So you know of it then. You know of
Yep.
like the
It was
crazy
this.
people who started throwing like
Well, the
dirty diapers and stuff.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that. But yeah, I heard about it all the time because most of the people who staffed Everfree Northwest also staffed Rainforest because it was the Seattle convention. And the most that I know about it, because they asked me to like staff it quite a few times, and I was always like, I'm too busy. But yeah, the main thing I've heard about it is they are fully blacklisted from every hotel on the West Coast. Like that, they had to move last year
Yeah, exactly.
to Spokane in the middle of nowhere, rural Washington, because they literally like could not book their spot for a hotel anywhere else, and I'm not surprised. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so
a
it's funny. Like
yeah.
it's kind of like you took like an episode of South Park level just ridiculousness, and from everything I've seen, that is that convention in a nutshell. I mean, people were throwing dirty diapers and crap on people's like cars and stuff like that. People disabled smoke detectors so that way they could like smoke and do stuff like that. There was countless numbers of just fights that broke out, and
Yeah, that's the thing.
it just
People are constantly like, "Oh, look, the hotels are blacklisting them. Why are they so, against furries?" And it's like, whichever direction you feel about furries, it's not about that. It's about the fact that hotels have zero incentive to do conventions because the thing is, conventions are a nightmare for a hotel because it's like all of these people who or fan conventions, at least business conventions usually aren't a problem because
Mhm.
people paid good money and they're being professional. But fan conventions are a nightmare because it's like there's all these messy people. A lot of them have not like been able to handle themselves publicly. Like this is the first time they've been in a social setting the entire year, and it's like They just make these
It's true.
horrible, like, you'll flood the bathrooms, there'll be like holes in the wall and stuff. It's this huge issue. All of your other guests generally feel like really awkward around these people, at best awkward. And it's like all of this nonsense, and it's not a boon to the con at all. Like, if you look at the kind of numbers they get, or the hotel. If you look at the numbers the hotel gets, it's really no different than they would get any other weekend. Like, most hotels get really like a tiny boost in sales, like not nearly worth the hassle that it becomes. And it's just, I don't know. It's just like, I'm not saying that this to like demonize conventions. I love conventions. I've been to tons. Like, I've been going since 2012. I've staffed a ton of conventions. I've always been a big proponent for them. They're great things, and they give people, like I said, like, this is the only way some people can socialize, because they can't just socialize out in the real world, but just by having this baseline of like, okay, I know everyone here likes this same thing that I like. You have like just like an icebreaker that you can immediately use. And that's fantastic. That's a great thing for some people. My point is, people who go to conventions and conventions themselves, the fan conventions, need to understand that they're not bulletproof, that they need to act accordingly. They need to be respectful of the hotel and the venue and all of that. They need to not act like animals and go insane. Because, like, I get it, you guys are having fun, but it's like, chill out. Like, even when I was at TrotCon recently, I went to a panel called the Swaglicorn Empire. Apparently, it's this group of people who started up this whole, like, thing where they just have panels at cons, and it's just a drinking party. It was amazing. They had, like, one of those big, like, the cooler, like, drink dispensers. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have it like a football game and have, like, the water in. And they just had it full of punch.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
They put a whole bottle of Everclear in it. An entire bottle. And then after that, they ran out of liquor, and then they got another bottle, a bigger bottle of vodka that they made a second batch with. And it was madness. They had crazy games.
Geez.
Everybody got super drunk. But you know what? Everybody kept it in the room. That one panel room. And everybody respected the fact that we get it. We're all drunk. We're having a good time. Let's keep it all in here because that's what the hotel asked of us. That's what we said we would do. And we cleaned up and everything. And it worked fine. And that's pretty much the baseline. It's like, have a great time, go crazy, but like clean up after yourself and be like respectful of the hotel's rules and try not to mess with their guests or anything.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of there's this one rapper. I can't remember his name, but he was in a hotel, and unfortunately, he was in a hotel room that was right next to a furry convention.
Oh boy!
Remember him just like he went on this tweet storm about it, about like how he's getting harassed by quotes, these fucking faggots in fursuits,
holy,
and stuff like that.
And that's the thing is like,
but you see, it's more than that though. It's like, these people were like, they were keeping the guests awake. They were vandalizing, kind of like the property and stuff like that. They were making a mess. They were creeping the hotel guests and stuff out. And it's, there's nothing wrong with these things, assuming that you have, first off, proper security to stop people from doing this stupid stuff, and second off, just assuming you have better freaking, just organization. Like you said, have it be organized, have it be set if you're going to do something stupid, either don't do it or do it in this specific place. Don't like be like a certain someone me and you both know who put Post-it notes of like obscene things up in like children's rooms and stuff like that. So
like,
I'm not going to name him though.
That's the thing is like that guy who was tweeting, it's like, maybe not the best thing. And I know the furry community was like, oh, he's anti-furry, because they always make it like they're being demonized, and they're always got that martyr complex. And that's the thing is like, there are good parts of the furry fandom. They have, they donate to charity. They're very supportive of artists and stuff. They pay a lot of money for fursuits to like, seamstresses and stuff. Like, thousands of dollars for fursuits and stuff. So, they definitely support the economy and they support artists. So that's cool. But yeah, it's just in a situation like that where it's not even about them being furry. Because if they were just like gamers or just like sci-fi nerds or anime nerds doing the exact same nonsense, it would be just as much of a problem and people would hate them just as much in that situation because they're being assholes and there's no need for that. Stop it.
Being dicks. I mean, it's nothing. That's all it is. All it is, really. So anyway, we went completely off topic and we talked about people being stupid for the past 10 minutes. Let's go on. It's your turn.
Okay, yeah. So my new projects. With the new computer comes better technology and comes Let's Plays. That's right, because my computer can actually handle video capture and audio recording. I was testing out some stuff, just doing like a stupid test Let's Play of just solitaire to try and see if it would actually work out. And yeah, OBS works fine. I can record through Audition and everything, so I'm going to be putting out Let's Plays again.
Let's Play of solitaire?
Yeah. I was like half asleep and I was just like, okay, this is 13 solitaire. You gotta, it's pretty much, you just gotta figure out what 2 cards adds up to 13. And once you remember which pairs add up to 13, you're pretty much good. Just click the. It was pretty much just that for like 5 minutes.
And blame him.
I've actually
really angry at the cards.
I've actually considered. I can't do it here because my internet connection sucks. But if I get to somewhere with a better internet connection, I've considered doing as a morning warm up, just doing like a live stream of me playing solitaire. Just every morning, just wake up and just play solitaire for a while and just like just ramble about nonsense for like half an hour. Like that would be a decent warm up and everything. But fortunately, internet connection is not great here. When I get a better connection, I may do that. But yeah, so I'm going to be putting together some Let's Plays. And tonight, it's 8 p.m. on Sunday, July 23rd, I'm going to be changing my Fiverr pricing, which I did inform all of my regular clients because I had to inform them of being out of town and everything last week. I also informed them that on the 24th, I would be changing my pricing from 350 words for $5 to 225 words for $5, because that moves it from about 2.5 to 3 minutes to about 1 to 1.5 minutes. And, oh man, I got so much kickback about that. The main one was one of my regulars actually requested if they could just use the old pricing still, to which I said, no, I'm changing it because it's too much work. Like, I'm happy doing it for these people, like doing this, but so often lately I've had to pull out the card, and I hate doing this, but I've had to do it so often, which is that for 350 words, I should be charging $50. Mm-hmm. Like, because I include commercial rights and everything, and like I should be charging.
You're not charging more, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm planning on doing. I'm gonna ramp it up slowly, but yeah, I've been planning to change it for a long time, and yeah, it's like for what I give them, I charge $50 most other places, and I've had to pull out the card many times where they're complaining because I also removed free revisions. I don't do revisions for free anymore because it's not worth it. If I make a mistake, or there's an audio glitch, obviously I'll fix that. But if it's on their end and they want to just send me a rough draft and expect me to record the final draft when they finish it later, no, they're paying for that. And yeah, so many people have given me this kickback, and I added like a terms and conditions to my buyer requirements now, which basically just says, just agree that you read all of the requirements and you read my FAQ to show that you understand what you're going to be charged for and what will make you pay more. And it's so much, like, just to tell them, like, hey, you didn't sign that. Sign it. And so many of them are like, I don't have time. Do I have to do that every time? It's like, yes! It's so simple. I'm charging you 1/10 of what I should. Please, just sign it. Like, guys, it's like I'm doing a really big service for you. You're getting a great value. And just please don't fight me on this. This is not that much I'm asking. But yeah, like with that response to those smaller things, changing my pricing, even with the advance warning, oh boy, I'm not too excited for how that's gonna work out. But The next thing here.
It kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who actually run their own business or do their own trade, and every single one of them at some point has to deal with the stupidest customer they could name. Someone that's just so insanely stupid that it drives them through the roof.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who does music and stuff like that, oh boy, the requests he gets for songs are sometimes like the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
He does like electric guitar and writes little itty bitty rock songs and stuff like that. But he has been offered $5 to compose like an entire 3-hour long soundtrack.
Right.
And then when he denies, they're always like, well, you can get recognition from this.
Yep.
And then when he
Exposure.
denies that, they start screaming at him and post his. I know, and then they post his information online because he's like a, freelancer and stuff like that. And it's actually not freelancer, but because on Google his mobile, and it's so dumb. And then you tell these people no, they get flipped their shit.
I have so many people I've argued over $5, and it's just like they're just like, well, my budget is $10. Well, your budget should be a lot higher. I mean, I say it more professionally, but it's like that's just the fact of the matter is that you're already on Fiverr. I had one person who was saying oh, you need to have the magical melody of the words, and I'm expecting, I just want a masterpiece, like your personal masterpiece for each one. It's like I eventually had to stop and be like, my friend, you paid $5. Those are not masterpiece rates. You are communicating so poorly. I don't even know what you want with this. You need to pay for extra revisions. I finally had to just cancel the order and be like, you've been haggling me like crazy. That's it. I don't want to work with you. Stop it. No, don't contact me again. I don't want to work with you. You're so unprofessional. I can't handle it. And that's the other thing is communication. Oh man, there's so many people. Some of them, I'm pretty sure it's because English is not their first language, and I'll give them a pass on that. But even the ones who don't have English as a first language, can communicate a lot better than some who do. Sometimes it's so confusing trying to figure out what people are trying to say to me. And it's so difficult. The thing is, I always try and tell them, it's please, you need to communicate more effectively. I am here to help you. I'm happy to help you. I'll do whatever you need. You just need to be able to communicate to me what you want so that I know what you want so I can do it. And I can't do it if you don't tell me properly. So, yeah, that's my rant. The other thing is that Fiverr...
I wonder if the people who listen to this, listen to the daily dose of, me saying I'm going to do something that I don't do it, and then the daily dose of just the stupid customers you get.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's entertaining to them.
I would. That sounds... Yeah, it's probably very entertaining.
The other thing is that Fiverr...
no offense to you, but I'm getting a kick out of listening to it, so...
Yeah. The other thing is just that Fiverr... My profile has had this glitch for quite a while where it won't let me change the pricing, so I'm hoping that won't prevent me from changing the pricing, because I would like to be able to actually, do it, but it may be trouble, and I'll have to talk to customer support again. But they've actually been responsive now, so that's good. It's just I want to be able to change that word count so that people can quit giving me these nonsense things and pay me an actual decent price, which is still far lower than I should be charging, but whatever. I don't know. Small tangent. I check kind of often. I will go to the voiceover section and check where I am, just showing up in the listing. And I've been on the front page for quite a while. There was a little thing happening with the algorithm where I was knocked off, but then so were most of the people who had been on the front page. But I'm back on the front page now, and I'm spot number 10, which is the row right below the first fold. And I looked at it, and then I'm like, oh, hey, you can put these filters on to see different things. So I'm number 10 in average customer review. Then there's recommended. I don't know how they figure out recommended, but I count it as a second page because you have to click away. The default is average customer review. So it's basically not being on the front page, being on the front page of that. And then you have new arrivals, which are all like the new accounts in that section, which is interesting. I like that they give people that. Looking at that, wow. I'm not surprised people think that Fiverr doesn't work with how they handle it. Like, I don't know. It feels like it should just be common sense because Fiverr literally tells you, like, you should have a video. You should have this and that. And it's like, if you do that and then just do basic research, you can do as well as I did. Like, it really didn't take that much. Because looking at it, of the 48 people on that front page of the new arrivals, probably 3 had actual demos accessible from the front. The rest were just headshots. A lot of them, their pricing was real high compared to people who have been on there for a while and put out much more quality work. The one that stuck out to me was a common thing on Fiverr is people will have like $5 for an impression, you know, because people want an impression. They want to be like, oh, put, you know, Patrick Warburton in this thing, you know, put Owen Wilson in my like ad for a goof or whatever, you know, say happy birthday to my friend as Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is the most common one because, you know, he has that deep, mellifluous voice. But one of these new arrivals, one of the ones that had the demo, was I will record Morgan Freeman. And I clicked the demo and I'm like, okay, let's hear your Morgan Freeman. And, whoo, it wasn't good. It was not good. If I can figure out, I'll probably figure out a way to like put it in here. In fact, whoops, I didn't have audition. Okay, I'll edit it in here if I can for you folks to listen to on the podcast.
Sometimes I said to myself that some birds are meant to be caged. My name is Morgan Freeman, but I am not Morgan Freeman. I am Chris, and I will do voiceovers on your project. Only $5 here on Fiverr.
Yeah, it wasn't skilled. I would not feel good about charging people for the for that level of. Yeah, not to talk crap on him. I'm sure he's doing well, but it's like $5. Most of the stuff on there is garbage. Like me, I'm pretty much mediocre, and I'm doing very well on there. So, a lot of tangent. It's a big show. We got a lot to talk about.
That's true. That's true. Most of our show is tangent, though, so hey,
if you like listening to it. Okay, so let's move on to business focus. I have a lot to talk about in this section, so Christian, why don't you start?
Well, all right, and since you have a lot to talk about, I'll keep it short since, we both have a lot of stuff that we got to do after this.
Yep.
For me, it's kind of the same thing I brought up earlier. That quote of, man's greatest happiness comes from losing himself to others. It's something I've been thinking, so much recently. Having a conversation with someone today, and he brought up kind of an interesting point to me, and that's, everyone wants to be a millionaire, everyone wants to be a billionaire, but very few people actually get there, and it's not because they're stupid, it's not because of this, it's because they lack the drive. And this person made a really good point when he said, that there are certain people out there who are able to just achieve that drive by themselves, but 9 times out of 10, the people who actually get that far, they're getting that far because of, their family, because of their friends, because of their coworkers, because they want to do something for someone else with that money, whether it be create a product, make a show, do something.
Well, the thing with it,
like, they're benefiting someone.
Right, exactly.
As they do it.
The thing is, and this is a pretty basic idea, but it should be more obvious, is what someone like I am doing. Like, I'm selling something, and you can sell goods or services. And while it may seem that I'm selling goods because I'm selling the voiceover wholesale, I'm selling the service, and what that really ends up meaning is that I have skills and knowledge from years of study and practice doing voiceover and editing audio that I've taught myself how to do, and really anybody can teach themselves how to do. Like, this really isn't that hard of stuff, and I found it all through just YouTube and stuff. These are all free sources. It was just I practiced at it and did it. So these are skills and knowledge that I have that other people don't have. So really, that's all I'm selling them is like, hey, you don't have these skills. I do have these skills. Give me some money, and I will let you borrow my skills for a while, and I will make something for you that you couldn't make on your own. That's literally it. So really, if you want to do well on something like Fiverr or as a freelancer, get a skill. Focus on something. For me, I've looked at a ton of stuff. I do music, absolutely. I write, I drew for a while. Like, I've done tons of things, but I've always focused on voiceover and audio. And that's pretty much it. Just find one thing that you like and just focus on it. Study it, practice it, do all the research you can. And once you have that skill, also focus on business, because that's the other thing I've focused on. Because, and the person who, I believe it was Voices.com, the guy who was the founder of that and moved on to create Voice Bunny, said at the 10-year anniversary of Voices.com, they asked him, what do you think the future of voiceover will be? And what he said was, we're going to move more online, and what's going to be less important is your actual skill and talent and more just your technical knowledge. And that's 100% the case, because I know business decently well, and I know how to edit audio and record audio real well. So I just put those together and make it work. My talent as a voiceover person is better than the average person, but in terms of voiceover folks, I'm pretty mediocre. This one guy on Fiverr has been paying me to produce his demos for him. He's a way better voice talent than me. He has an amazing voice, and he's a great actor. Way better, many, many times. But his recording space is not great, and he doesn't know how to edit audio. And that's really what's holding him back, is just those things. And I've told him, just study and research. You have that raw talent. If you can make it to a point where you can actually use it and get people to pay for it, that's all you need. And you will be doing amazing. So that's pretty much it, is just, have a skill, get at least proficient at it. You don't have to be an amazing expert at it. Just be proficient enough that you can make the thing sound professional or be professional, and then just focus on business so you know how to market it and get people to buy it from you. And that's pretty much all I've done. And you can do it too. Just focus and, spend years procrastinating and not actually applying it properly.
All right. So I guess it's your turn to talk now.
Right. So my business focus is going to be kind of checking in on what I did at TrotCon, because while I was there running panels and doing a music set and all that, I was also working still, because I can't really afford to take a day off for the most part, because I'm already pretty much just making barely over minimum wage, so I can't really afford to do less than that. So how I handled that. First off, informing clients, because most of my work on Fiverr is regulars. So what I did was I figured out who my regulars were, which was a whole process. And then I just made a mass message that just stated, on Thursday, I'm not going to be available for rush orders because I'm going to be traveling. On Sunday...
I'm guessing people still try to do rush orders regardless.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they did. And I was like, hey, look at the message right above the one you just sent. Yeah, I can't do rush orders right now. Sunday, I'm just going to be gone, because on Sunday I was doing my music set, I was doing 2 panels, and I was heading home. So I don't think we got back until noon on Monday, because it was a 12-hour drive, and we took breaks, and we didn't leave until later than we expected, so it was a whole snafu. But yeah, so I let everybody know few days beforehand, and I also let them know I'm changing my prices, which I'm going to be doing in about 3.5 hours from now. So, oh boy, I'll have plenty to talk about that next episode. Managing time with live events. So, yeah, that was the big thing, is not only were there events that I was running myself, there were also events that I was going to. Like I said, I went to the Swaglicorn Empire one and got pretty drunk. But I was able to manage that because it was, I made sure I was caught up on everything. Because how I usually work is I will record when I wake up, I will get ready to record, and I will just record all of the orders that have been placed overnight. Then throughout the day, I will be doing 1 to 3 orders at a time as people put in more or ask for quotes about more. And that's pretty much how I do it. There, wasn't just able to do orders whenever because I was in a hotel room with other people. You know, the space I was using was not nearly as soundproof. I'll get into that in a minute. And yeah, I was off doing things, so I couldn't just run and do a quick recording like I can at home. So I had to basically let things build up and just do it in 2 big chunks. One when I got up and one right before I went to bed each of the days. And it was rough. It was really rough. The main thing was creating...
Like it's pretty rough.
Jeez. Yeah, it was not fun. Next time I do a convention, I'm just going to take the whole thing off. I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm not going to be available all of these days, and you're just going to kind of have to deal with it. Sorry. The other thing was I had to create a temporary workspace because I'm not just like writing or anything, I'm recording, and you can't just record anywhere and make it sound good. That's kind of a big thing. And I pride myself on having professional sound because that's why I have the clients that I do, is because I'm fast and I have actual professional sound. So I had to create a professional temporary sound recording space in a Crowne Plaza hotel room. So how I did that was I took the closet, which I record in a closet usually, but this was a much smaller one. And I took a bunch of pillows off the beds and cushions from the couch at home, which I brought with me, which made less space for all of our luggage, which my roommates were not happy about, but you just gotta deal with it. This is my job. So what I did was I took those like clip hangers for like pants, the like clothes hangers, and I took the sheet.
Right.
I took a sheet, clipped one side, put the big couch cushion into it, and then folded it over and clipped it again. It was difficult because they were not really able to handle that kind of weight without being delicate. But I did that. I used some command hooks because they don't leave marks on the walls to hang up some more sheets behind that to fill in all the gaps. And so I just put pillows above me, a pillow to the left of the mic, and a pillow in behind the mic. That's all you need because when you're recording, you really only need to worry about the standing waves. They're deeper things, but in reality, the only things that you really need to get yourself to a decent level, at least good enough for Fiverr, is you need to stop the waves going in front of you to behind you, from your left to your right, and up and down. So you need to take at least one of those sides, left or right, up or down, in front or back, and just put something soft to make the sound stop. Because if it can keep bouncing back and forth, it's going to sound terrible. You don't need to actually fill the entire place with foam. Right. I've done that here just for safety, but in reality, just those 3 sides of the 6 that you'll have in a box-shaped room. And so that's what I did. The doors to it were not soundproof, and I put the office chair from the desk in there, and then the door couldn't close anyways. But I was recording from my laptop, same microphone and everything, and the sound quality was definitely different. It was a lot livelier. It wasn't quite as deadened as it is at home. And I had to record a lot differently. I had a lot more background noise because, like I said, not soundproof at all. Like, this isn't soundproofed that I have here, but it will block out a lot more noise than that did. And people were just slamming the heavy, doors out in the halls. All this, the air conditioning was so loud. But I made it work. It was a lot more work to deal with, but I made it happen. And that's pretty much what you have to do.
You. I remember the last con I was at was, right outside the hotel rooms and stuff, of just regular guests. There were people screaming and stuff at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So props to you for finding a way to actually pull that off without.
Yeah, I mostly tried to do it during the daytime because most people were out doing stuff. So that worked for the most part. I was still getting tons of orders. I had 15 orders on that Friday, 12 on that Saturday. So it was a lot to deal with, and I cut it really close because people were putting in orders on the way home, and people were putting in orders when we were driving there. So it was like so much to deal with, but I made it work. There's a great video. James Arnold Taylor, who's the voice of Johnny Test and Tidus from Final Fantasy X, and Fred Flintstone and like Star Wars Clone Wars. He's Obi-Wan. On his YouTube channel, he actually has a video because he's Obi-Wan, he will go to Star Wars weekends, which is like the con there, and he has a video where he's like, hey, I'm here, but I'm still a working voice actor, so I can't just take the day off. So he has just this whole thing he shows where he has this great just sound space that he created in his hotel room. In basically the same way, he didn't do it in a closet. He hung up sheets to make kind of a frame. I wasn't able to do that because there was nowhere, the only place that would be quiet was, and like out of the way because people would have to be walking past it, I had to keep a walkway clear, was the closet. But, and I had like a popcorn ceiling, so I couldn't just like command hook to the ceiling the way he does in that video. But yeah, check that out if you want to see more or less the kind of thing to go for. It's pretty good. How to improve in the future. Preferably better sound space, you know. It would be, there are better ways I could have done it, but for the most part, it worked pretty well. Try not to get drunk on Friday night. That was rough. I was very hungover all day. That's the second time I've ever been hungover. The other time was when I took 14 shots of moonshine in a half hour while playing Bean Boozled, the Jelly Belly, the Nasty Beans drinking game. We had like a spinner, and you had to take whatever one, and oh boy, that was a horrible time. Once all that moonshine kicked in. But
yeah, that sounds like really bad.
Yeah, but it's fine. I was able to make it work. Other ways to improve. I noticed with my panel, my lyricizing panel, I haven't really changed it since I started it up, but there were some things I could do there where we actually played music, because usually I just put the lyrics up on the screen and we just talk about them. We actually played music, and a bunch of people, like, not a bunch of people, but like 3 more people like walked in because they heard the music and realized that the panel was actually going on. So in the future, because we had like Wi-Fi issues, because one of the things with panels, never trust they'll have internet. You should the rule is only trust that they will have electricity and water. Don't trust that they'll even have chairs, microphones, a projector, any of that. You should prepare that they only have electricity and water. So internet, far from your mind. Don't trust that. Make sure you download everything. So yeah, in the future, I'll probably download the songs and do them like that. But yeah, that's pretty much how I handled that whole weekend. And it was rough. Like I said, in the future, I'll probably just take that kind of time off. Or not, if I can make it work. But yeah, it was an interesting time. It was a hectic weekend, but there won't be another for quite a while. I am looking at other cons more locally, where, you know, within like an hour's drive or whatever. Like down in Florida, you know, they got MomoCon and stuff in Atlanta, up north, and stuff like that. Just anime cons where I can apply for music and panels and stuff. So I'm going to check that out. Maybe do that to, you know, market myself a little more. And because it's fun. I like going to conventions a lot. It's just cool to socialize and see all this interesting stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much my business focus. And yeah, we're already running pretty long on this episode, but it's a different. We have 2 weeks to cover, and I had the whole convention, which was a big event in terms of this show. So
yes.
Let's move on to our plans with our goals for the week. So my goals are 80 orders on Fiverr. I'm pulling it back from 100 for now because I'm still kind of ramping up after that weekend. And I'm going to have the price change, which will probably mean I get less orders, but they'll be worth more. So I'm going to keep it safe at about 80 orders on Fiverr. The only reason this week was so low is because I had that whole Sunday off. So I didn't actually get any orders done on that Sunday, which cut my orders down by at least 10. But yeah, and one Let's Play out. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to record a Let's Play, and I'm going to put it up on my YouTube I gotta wait until I can get Premiere set back up to do that, though. But that is...
Do Bebe's Kids.
Bebe's Kids. Oh, gosh. Gonna have to figure out how to do an emulator with that. Ooh. Maybe. I don't know. I'll...
Run like SNES 9X or something. I mean...
Yeah, no, I have it.
Gosh,
I mean...
that game...
It's the worst beat 'em up ever.
Wait, you actually have the game?
I have the emulator. I can get the... I hope I can get the game. I was actually looking...
Oh, God. I thought you meant like you had like an actual copy of the game. I was like, oh my God.
That would be amazing. By the way, we were talking about... I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but there's a new Bubsy game coming out for some reason. And there's a new Shaq Fu game coming out, but I already knew about that because I funded it on Indiegogo, thank you. So I'm getting all the DLC and everything.
Oh my, you lucky little...
The worst part,
I wanted to fund that so badly, but I didn't have anything.
Yeah, the thing that's... Oh, I didn't have money at the time. I put myself... I, like, basically emptied out my bank account to do that, but...
You put yourself in debt for Shaq. How does that feel?
Oh, Shaq, you flat earther, you. Have you heard about that?
That's pretty Shaq-tastic to me. So
have you heard about Shaq became a flat earther and his explanation was like, I've traveled all the way up to China and I've seen everything and you're going to try and tell me that that's not flat? That's not right. It's like, Shaq, please.
I mean, the reason I say is that Shaq is because it's like, you know, there was an NBA player who said that, but I don't think it was Shaq because Shaq has like a PhD.
Does he?
Let me Google this because, yeah, Shaq has a PhD. Yeah, okay, so apparently he was just trolling everyone.
Okay. That makes sense because it was a little ridiculous.
This was after they had that NBA player who said that, and he legitimately believed it, and then Shaq was just like, yeah, ha ha ha, I totally agree with this.
Okay, yeah, thinking back, that's the problem.
He actually said,
sarcasm.
I'm joking, you idiots.
Sarcasm doesn't work on the internet. It's so hard to tell when people are being actually stupid and when people are just playing stupid. The only way you can tell is, like, is it an Onion article? Or one of, like, Clickhole, one of Onion's, like, secondary sites? Yes? Then it was sarcastic. Otherwise, who knows? Who knows? We live in such a weird time. But yeah, I actually, speaking of emulators real quick, I noticed because I was listening to Geek Nights, the podcast about geek stuff. I don't know. I like it a lot. It's fun. But they were talking, I was like going back through their archives because I haven't heard, they only have like the last year, or no, the last 100 episodes archived on their RSS feed, but then they have all of their episodes since like 2005 archived on their site. So I've been going back from the beginning and listening from the start. And I just got to the episode where Mario Kart DS came out, and they're talking about that. And they talked about Mario Kart Super Circuit, the GBA game, which I had, and it's the best Mario Kart because anytime they talk about Mario Kart, they mention this because it's in Mario Kart Super Circuit, it was pure skill. Like, there's items and stuff, but literally, if you play perfectly, hit nothing, are constantly on the accelerator, even the blue shell will just hang back. As soon as you make a mistake, that blue shell's going to hit you. But if you can avoid the blue shell completely if you drive perfectly. And that's why that one's the best. But yeah, I was like, man, now I'm nostalgic for that game. And I never played Mario Kart DS. I kind of skipped that one. So maybe I should go and find emulators and play those. Or rather, ROMs. Nothing. I looked at all the major ROM sites. Anything with the name Mario in it, gone. You can't download any Mario games.
Yeah, Nintendo's pretty intense with
it's probably because
takedowns.
It's probably
especially
with,
since they started doing virtual console stuff.
Yeah, and it happened more recently. I'm pretty sure because they've been promoting Mario Odyssey at like E3 and stuff, and so they realized like, oh, people are probably gonna download a lot of those, so let's kick it down while we can. And I mean, it's smart on their part.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
I don't blame them, but it's just like, it's unfortunate. I was really hankering for that. I need to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch. I've been meaning to for a while, but I haven't had money.
I need to get to that.
I got Splatoon 2 though.
Switch, but
oh man, Splatoon 2 is great. It's so good. Like, I suck at console shooters.
Bad. Like I haven't played the first Splatoon, but I mean, like I see Splatoon 2 and I'm like, this looks fucking amazing.
I never played Splatoon
and not only
either.
look amazing, but like if you're like me and you're like a competitive dork, like this game looks like it's gonna have some crazy competitive scene coming up. Like, in fact, from everything I've seen and the interviews they've gave, it's like apparently to be specifically dedicated to more competitive types and stuff like that. And I'm like, I want this
Yeah,
so
I mean,
badly.
well, let's call this a special episode. I'm just gonna go on another tangent for a bit. But yeah, I never played the original Splatoon because I didn't have a Wii U. But it came out on Switch, and I'm like, I'm getting that right away. I still want to get ARMS and Mario Kart 8 as well, but that's another $120, so I'm waiting on that. But I got Splatoon 2, and it's so fun. The thing with it is, I suck at console shooters because I just can't work out the analog stick properly. And I mean, we've talked about that before. But Splatoon 2 fixed that because you can still move around with the right stick at any time, right? But the right stick is really awkward. And what does the Switch have? Motion controls. So you actually can aim with motion control. And playing that in handheld is awesome. It's so much easier for me. Like, my brain considers it. I still suck because I don't have, like, the same, like, practice and stuff. But, like, playing, like, the first-person, like, campaign and stuff is great. And if we're going to get into the competitive stuff, I can actually tell you, so there's Turf War, which is the basic just online match. That's just 4v4, whoever can ink the most space.
Right.
Now they have ranked, which once you level up to level 10, I'm level like 5 right now. It's only been out a couple days at this point. It came out on Friday. It's Sunday now, and I've been working, so I didn't have a ton of time to play it yet. But once you get up to level 10, you can play ranked battles, and the ranked battles, I guess it's like a letter grade because now they also have league battles. I don't know much about it because I haven't gone there yet, but it's basically level 10, you can be in ranked battles. If you get a B- or better in ranked battles, you can be in league battles. And yeah, it's clear they're being very much more about the esport with this. Like they've already set up this hierarchy and stuff, and I'm just excited. It's really fun. I'm having a great time with it. I'm getting frustrated because I'm terrible at shooters, but I'm getting slowly better. But yeah, Splatoon 2, if you...
I wouldn't focus too much about the controls on this one because, like, it's Splatoon especially, it's, accuracy is obviously big in this, but, like, it's nowhere near as big as in something like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty or something like that where you have to be accurate to get a shot in or something like this.
No.
This is one where it seems to me like if you have a decent strategy,
yeah, that's the thing.
You'll win. Like, it's more strategy based than pure, hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it's not like it doesn't matter where you hit them. It's not like if you hit a body shot, it's not going to do anything, or a headshot. If you hit them at all, it's going to count. And because pretty much all of the weapons are designed to cover area, because they're all designed to cover, like, you're covering the area with ink. So all of the weapons are really not super, like, accurate, and they don't need to be. Like, you can tell some people are a lot better. I was in this one map. Oh my god. What happened was, the thing is, I've just been jumping into games, but you can with the Nintendo, like, online app, which right now is free. It's going to be like $20 a year when they actually start charging for it, so I'm not too worried. But you can actually do teams, and you can set it up with other people.
That's about the same as, like, Xbox Live. So.
Yeah. But yeah, crap, what was the thing? Oh, right. What happened was...
Teams. You can do teams.
So whoever we were up against was definitely, like, a team. Like, they had figured their stuff out. Because they inked up, like, the entire half of their... Like, they just ran to the middle, inked up the middle, and then all of them, squid form, hiding for an ambush. So anytime any of us went anywhere near the middle, which is that's the variable. Like, you're most of the time going to be able to get most of your own area, but it's the middle that really, like, matters. As far as I can tell so far, I might be totally wrong on this. But yeah, so anytime we got anywhere near there, 3 of them would just pop up and just destroy you. And it was madness. Like, that's definitely the strategy you should use, but, like, oh god, it was ridiculous.
It kind of reminds me of another game, League of Legends. I don't know if you've ever played any League of Legends or something like
Briefly,
that. But, typical League of Legends game takes 45 minutes minimum.
Right.
an hour and a half or more. I've heard of some games taking like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But there was this one really funny thing on YouTube where like they had a team of 5 people. They all kind of ganged up together. Like, they had a team and they were all on like, Skype or something like that. And they knew what they were doing. And they were all like, okay, so instead of playing this normally, we're just all going to go in, all 5 of us, we're all going to go in the same lane instead of, scattering out like everyone else is doing. And we're just going to go straight forward and see what happens.
Wow.
And because, everyone else on the other team was clearly just playing with someone random, they had no clue what the heck was going on, but like they managed to beat this 45-minute minimum game in like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Just by like going forward and destroying. And because, there were all 5 of them, if anyone tried to kill them, it's like, screw you, we'll just kill you on the spot,
Right.
So they won, and it was really funny. And the other team, they all rage quit the second that went through. So
yeah, I mean,
that was off topic. Anyway, let's go on.
Yes.
What else?
Okay, so what are your weekly goals?
Well, my new weekly goal is to get Splatoon 2.
Yeah. Do it. You don't want to get behind on that.
You've convinced me team and see what crap we can do on there. But more goals related to this. I want to do daily drawings, and I actually want to have some character designs for the stuff I keep saying I'm doing on Instagram and Tumblr by the end of the week. I also want to have a website going. I'm going to be probably getting like a cheap 99-cent URL from like GoDaddy's at some point. I need to redo my avatar and my social media approach to really just focus on the kind of overall message I was talking about earlier, which is, just have a positive impact on people, inspire, like do something that makes people, benefits people in some way, inspires them, motivates them, whatever, instead of just being this shit posting idiots.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And that's going to be probably my weekly goal for that, is just, do something positive, redo my avatar, get my Facebook, Twitter, all that layout stuff correct, and then just do all that.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah, sounds good. Our goals for the quarter. Mine are pretty much the same. Upgrading my setup. I already got the new computer, so that part is done. Improved sound treatment. I definitely, because right now I just have like a cheap mattress pad. I want to get some good Corning fiberglass and turn them into cushions to like actually block this stuff in, because it sounds fine, but it could sound a whole lot better. New mic. I still plan to get a CAD E100S, but they're like $500. So what I'm going to get before then, because right now I'm on a real tinny garbage Florian, whatever, B88 or something, I'm going to get an MXL 990, which is the mic I started with, but I really didn't know how to use it properly, and I dropped it like a bunch of times, so it was messed up. And it's pretty common. The original Super Smash Brothers, like the announcer stuff, was recorded on an MXL 990. And in fact, cool story, I've probably said this before because I really like this story. Xander Mobus, who did he was the most recent Smash Brothers announcer. He actually like trained with the original Smash Brothers announcer, and as a gift to finish up their training, the original Smash Brothers announcer gave Xander Mobus the MXL 990 he recorded the original on.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dude,
it's really
fucking awesome.
Yeah, did you know? It was from a Did You Know Gaming that I found that out. But go watch that Did You Know Gaming as Smash Brothers, because Xander Mobus was the one who did the voiceover for it, and it's cool stuff. And it's really cool because
I've seen that. I don't remember him bringing that up, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he mentions it.
I've seen that. It's good.
Pretty sure that's where I heard it. Anyways, I also am adding, I need a new mixer, because this Pad 10 MXU from Pile is fine, but it's only got 2 channels, which is pretty limited. And there's small problems with it here and there. And the fact that it doesn't have a dedicated power supply means that I don't think the MXL 990 will actually work with it. It does have phantom power, but I think this is the best I'm going to be able to do with that, is this cheaper mic. So I'm going to get a Behringer Xenix Q802 USB mixer, which is like $80. So for right now, I'm going to be getting the mixer
Robotic. final boss of an RPG.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus Pringa Phoenix, level 99.
That's all audio stuff. It's all
weak against water and ice.
yeah. So gonna get the mic and the mixer. That'll be like $180, and then the fiberglass cushion's gonna be like $70. So once I get all those, I'm looking at Google SketchUp so I can get the actual booth set up like I've said before, but I'm still figuring out how to use that. Other than that, I'm gonna update my demo, all three, my narration, ad, and character demo, and I'm gonna update my Fiverr intro video, which basically just means different visuals, different headshot, and a different intro to my new demo, which I'll put in there. And the EP I've been talking about, I'm definitely gonna release it by the end of September, which is the end of the quarter. Like, I swear, if I don't by then, I may as well just give up on it, which I'm not going. I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to have it done. Literally, all I need to do is record. It's just finding time to record around all the orders I do is just nonsense nightmare. Mm-hmm. Anyways, those are all my goals for the quarter. Christian, your goals.
I'd imagine it would be nonsense. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, my turn now?
Yep. Your goals for the quarter, my friend.
All right, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, listeners. There is like some lag between us.
That's what happens when you have to record remotely, folks. But it's better than some podcasts.
I know, we have fun things like this. And also say it's probably better than having me record on the phone again. That would be bad, especially since it's raining outside.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal.
So actually, I'm gonna say this. I keep saying, oh, my goal is to get my stuff in order, okay, get myself a Surface Book. Okay. And the reason I want a Surface Book in particular is because it's powerful enough for me to be able to run, but it's also portable enough that, I could actually use it as a tablet and stuff. And because I've been doing like a lot of art and stuff like that, it's possible to do things with a mouse, and it's possible to draw something by hand and then scan it in and then just do it, kind of clean it up with a mouse and stuff like that. But it's such a pain. It's not actually a pain in the ass, but it's just so tedious and takes forever. And it would be so much faster if I didn't have like a freaking Wacom tablet, but if I just had something portable that I could pick up, draw a line on, and not have to worry about plugging it into any of this USB BS or having all this driver nonsense. Just have something with a pen, be able to draw on things. That would make things so much faster.
Yeah.
And then along with that, I want to Creative Cloud Sketch, but I also want to get the program Cake and I. So if you guys don't know which I'm sure you don't know because Cake and I is a pretty obscure program. It's a program that's made by a I think it's a Taiwanese company. And it's really interesting. So this group of actual animators got together and they made this software where what it is it actually will draw the in-betweens for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that saves, if you're an animator, that saves so much freaking time. And if you don't know what an in-between is pretty much just the frames in between the keyframes. So say you want to have an arm move from one place to the other, the in-betweens are, and just having to, wow, my throat's sore. Sorry, I had a long lesson I taught today in church.
Yep.
But just having something like that would save so much freaking time. And what I really want to do is I want to start doing, like daily animations and stuff, like daily, not long ones, but just like 3-second GIFs or something like that. Put it on Tumblr and Twitter.
Yeah.
But unless I have something to do those automatic in-betweens, it's so freaking long. And, just having something like Cake and I as a tool, it would be incredible. And then my last one I'm going to say is just get in shape, which I've been working on.
Same
I've been
here.
working as hard as I should, but I've been jogging. I've been occasional. I haven't been jogging, but I've been, needless to say, like just exercise more and then eat better.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a goal everybody should have, and I've been trying personally to do that, but not always the best. I pretty much just stretch, but that's more than I do otherwise. So some.
Time for the future projects.
Yes.
And I don't really have anything, so I will just let you do your thing.
Okay. Mine, I'm gonna need a small explanation for. Basically, lately, what I do for warm-ups is I realized Goosebumps, those good old R.L. Stine horror books for kids, have the perfect length chapters for warm-ups because it's basically it's like 5 to 6 pages usually each chapter, and it's good narration. There's usually, an adult and a kid voice in most of it, so that is enough to give me the low range, the high range, and the mid range just to warm up a bit. So that's what I've been doing lately, is just reading one chapter of a Goosebumps book. The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb is the one I'm working through now. Here's the thing. Before, I had 2 Goosebumps books, 2 physical ones. I have all the ebooks, but I had Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, which I have here, and then Vampire Breath, which is back in my storage unit in Seattle, and I've been meaning to build my collection. Yesterday, my roommates were at Goodwill, and they found 43 Goosebumps books out of the 60 or so that there are total of just the original series. There's a few of the Choose Your Own Adventure ones, the Give Yourself Goosebumps, and the one of the short story ones, More Tales to Give You Goosebumps, I think it's called. But yeah, so I have the majority now of the Goosebumps books. And what I realized is I'm doing those to warm up. Why don't I record those? Because I'm doing it in my recording space. Granted, they'll be my warm-up, so there'll be mistakes and stuff. But it's I can read a chapter a day, and then just post it to SoundCloud, Tumblr, YouTube, and it's just an audiobook. So I'm going to call those the Goosebumps Cold Reads. I'll probably call it the Sound of Goosebumps or something stupid like that. I don't know. I'll work out the branding and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that after I get through this book. I'm halfway through Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, and then I'll just start over from Welcome to Dead House, which is the first one, and just work through them. So hopefully something good will come of that. I think people will enjoy it for the most part. And future plans for the show is our next thing.
Sounds good to me.
So future plans for the show. This is not so much plans, but it's just a reassurance. Because Christian brought this up to me, and someone else brought it up to me because they know my music is on SoundCloud. There have been rumors going around that SoundCloud is shutting down. Those rumors started because they laid off 173 people and closed 2 of their offices. It's not shutting down, guys. Totally rumors. The CEO came out and said, yeah, we get it. We laid people off. People are kind of... He didn't say this, but it was pretty clear. You people are idiots. Laying people off doesn't mean a business is shutting down. Much in the same way that going bankrupt doesn't mean that you're failing as a business necessarily. There are ups and downs with businesses, and sometimes people are laid off, and sometimes offices are shut down. They're not shutting down. They'll be there. We just bought this. It worried me because we just got the pro account, but it's yeah, no, they're still going to be around, guys. Right. So quit jumping ship. Don't worry. It's still going to be there. So with that said, let's go on to the moral of the episode. So, Christian, what is your moral of the episode?
Well, I'm actually, I talked a little bit about, just really benefiting others and, stuff like that. Maybe instead of a moral, I'm just going to read a quote that I actually really enjoy about art and stuff like that. It's from a man named Robert L. Lynch, and he is president of the group Americans for the Arts. And he says, quote, "The arts empower, the arts give a voice to the voiceless. The arts help transform American communities, and as I often say, the result can be a better child, a better town, a better nation, and certainly a better world. Let's champion our arts action heroes, emulate them, and make our communities everything we want them to be."
Nice. I like it. Okay. And then for mine, just communicate better, people. All of you people selling stuff, communicate better with the people buying it. Everybody buying stuff, communicate better with the people selling it. You guys are working together. It's not employee-employer. You guys are working together. Buyer, be better at communicating what you want from the seller. Seller, communicate better what you need from them so that you guys can figure out what you need to do to get the thing that you want. It's really as simple as that. Just learn how to talk to each other properly. And that's it. That's all I have to say of that. Communicate. So it should be, just obvious, but, that's most of the stuff on the show. So with that will be the end of our road to success. So we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Next week, everyone.
Our Road to Success is a Just Fall production, created under a Creative Commons Attribution and Share-alike license. This means you can use any part of the show in any way you like, as long as you credit Iggy Kid, Christian Hansen, and Just Fall Productions, and make your product just as accessible. You can find Iggy Kid on Twitter at DapperJackery or on Fiverr at fiverr.com/IggyDKid. You can find Christian Hansen on Twitter at ChrisHansen1994 or on Instagram at instagram.com/ChristianHansen1994. Our Road to Success can be found on Twitter at OR2SPodcast, on Facebook at facebook.com/Our Road to Success Show, through email at ourroadtosuccessshow@gmail.com, or on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/OR2SPodcast. That's it for this week on Our Road to Success. Remember that everyone has their own road. We know you'll find yours. Happy trails!